friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be regarding rune cloths part 2. That's right, I have a video earlier you can find on the channel that talks about basic rune cloths that I made, but that was a couple of years ago. So I've kind of made some other ones, and I've got a few things that I also use that aren't necessarily cloth. So I want to kind of show you what I've been using and things that you can use too in your rune practice. So let's take a look. This is one that I had in the previous video. This is just this first one I made. This was a standard circle. I wanted it big enough to be able to use different size runes. I wanted to be able to put rune grids on it. I used it for divination. The other circles there were for different elements that I wanted to bring to the table, whether it was stones or statuary or candles, that kind of thing. And you can see that I've kind of put holes in it from the incense burning, wax drippings here from candles. So I have since retired this one for the most part. The second one that I had in the first video was the spiral. And the spiral I do use when I want to drop and cast. So what I do with that, a quick demo here, is you just take your runes, you grab your handful, and you drop them. So you would discard anything that's like this. I think any leaners, take these off. And now what you have left are your runes. And you just start in the middle, you spiral out. And it looks like we've got Gifu. And then we look, as you go out, the orientation should be going out this way. So this one obviously is Kenaz reversed. And then following the spiral, follow it out. This one also looks like it is Ihwa's reversed as well. So there you go. That's how I use this particular cloth and be able to read them in a forward and reversed manner. I like this cloth a lot, and I do, like I said, use it when I cast runes in that manner. That's not necessarily how I do it when I read and do divination for others, though. So let's take a look. Now, you can also, what I have here, you can also simply have a blank cloth. It could be of any color. You can also make it a power color. Pretty much anything that you want to put on it. I'm going to show you some examples of what I've done. Just here, let me see here, the next rune. Oh, so I'm going to show you my next rune cloth that I made. And I've done divination with this for a while. It's this one, and I think you've seen this one in different videos like that. It is just a simple kind of canvas. I believe I used just markers. I did do some rustic burning of the edges here and whatnot just to give it a look. And that is what I used for a long time and still do. And that's where you can really set up a nice 3-rune layout, either going this way. The way I do it now, it's a 9-rune reading. So I do, I'll just set this up real quick for you. I take these here. This isn't actually the way I lay them up, and I'm going to put them like this just for the example. So in this particular situation, what I normally typically read on this would be the past, runes that influence the past, now, the present, and runes that are influencing you. And then a potential future and runes that could influence that outcome. So you can also do correlations this way, and you can also really set it up for any different kind of reading. If you wanted to set it up for just a straight 3-rune reading, that would be a way. You can also cast on this if you wanted. Oh, that was a terrible cast. Let's try that again. All right, we're going to go higher. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then you can gauge how you want them to orient, to be the orientation, whether they are forward or reversed. So that's where this cloth was really handy. It was small. It was easy to take with me, and I usually, and I do, like I said, still use this. Let's look at another different type of cloth. This is one that I purchased, and it is a simple mini Persian rug. This ends up being very practical when I do readings. Very practical as far as easy to take with you. I do like the colors, and still, if you notice the pattern here, you still have enough room. Basically, you can do the same type of layout or cast. This is really good for casting this way. You can, orient it differently and cast in different directions. but I like to use the pattern of these to lay out a simple layout like that. And then you can also use these to give it a 9 rune. So, and I like this for this size rune. This is a nice way to present those runes as well. And then also, even for the larger rune tiles, this works out rather well. You can have, there's plenty of room on here for this. And I think that it just depends on what your aesthetic is, what you like, what you feel comfortable with, and also know that you're not going to offend any gods. You're not going to, yeah, there we go. See, look at that. So that's really good. These large rune tiles are, like I said, great for video, especially when doing, like I said, video rune readings, because you can see them easier. So I like, you know, I do like this cloth, and I do use it often. Another thing that I was talking about the large runes is I did make this, and this was an experiment. We've got Tree of Life and Jormungandr and Freya, Trollcross. This was actually here for pendulum work. If you're doing a reading and you want to get some answers like that. And then I made this, looks like a tic-tac-toe thing. But again, this is for the runes that you would lay down in that pattern, and just kind of makes a space for it. I think it could be done with that, and then you would have a space here. Freya would hold the rest of the runes over here. So that's how that kind of works. So I do like this. I don't always take it to do divination with. I've done it before. It just depends. It is one piece, so it is a little, again, you have to think practicality. If you had this at home, this would be fantastic. That's why I do it here. And I like to do this for video rune readings, as well as just my own personal divination here. But I've tried taking it out and about, and it is rather cumbersome on my current setup. So, but that's something that is also an option, and I do like the etching and putting each element together here. All right. Something else that I've made that I think, let me see, this is something that I've done a while back, and you can see the video on my YouTube channel. This is my Algiz rune grid, and I've put it on a little Lazy Susan here so that it can be turned. I was doing that to have rune readings, so where I was giving people readings, and I thought it would be handy to have, and this is one that I use as a crystal grid, a rune crystal grid. You can do all sorts of things with this, including the divination layouts. And so, you can do that. And then if the client wants to see it or take a picture, it can be turned so that it can be oriented for your client. And you can explain to them how that goes, especially, there we go. So that's one design. Now I just came up with this. I drew this out, and then I had it, then I etched it. It was traced and etched, so that's kind of fun to do. And another one that I had made was this 1,000 Rocks grid. The 1,000 Rocks grid is pretty fun. That was a lot to draw and then etch, and I had put it on some acrylic, black acrylic there. Again, the same way, I use this as a crystal grid as well as a runic crystal grid, where I can incorporate crystals and runes together, and or just set up a runic layout, add intention, candles, that kind of thing. The third one, again, if you just happen to have a crystal grid, Sacred Geometry, Flower of Life. This one, again, was an experiment, and I've attached it to this large piece of wood, but this was a nice etch. So those you can also use because it's Sacred Geometry, and those are fine to use as well. A couple more things. Speaking of Sacred Geometry, mini crystal grid right here. These can be used, in fact, a mini crystal grid is just fun and easy to take with you. and put pretty much wherever you want, whether it's on your nightstand, on your desk at work, wherever you want. But if you want to also use it as a rune grid or crystal grid, these are just mini runes that I've made. I have these pretty much what you see here, this grid and these runes for sale on my Etsy, and I really kind of like the small, here we go, past, present, future, but I do like these grids, and you can lay them out like this, and it's kind of fun because they're small and they're easy for travel, and you can set something up like this, add crystals to it, and then you can also, so you can leave it like a crystal grid, and then you can have your own intentions with it, but you can fill up different parts of it, oops, and treat it just like a crystal grid. In fact, you can put, instead of crystals, you can put runes that you want to make intentions with and set them on here. Set an engine in the middle like a quartz crystal or a quartz point, light a candle, and then pull on the power of the runes, pull on the aspects of the runes that you would like. So that's the mini crystal grid with the mini runes. Another way to showcase those. All right, let's put these away. And I got one last thing to show you. And I've been working a lot with resin runes. I found this mold on Etsy, or actually on Amazon. Well, I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I tried it. Ended up using this purple glitter with gold paint. Trying to get it to look like that, but it was kind of, it's interesting. Put some feet on it. So again, this is another thing that can be used as well. You can use this actually as something that you can have on your altar. I've been using it on my altar kind of as a crystal grid, but a runic intention grid. So I have a piece of larvikite, which is Norway stone, stone of Norway, and I'll place it on my daily rune. Whatever I pull, I'll place it over that rune, and then that will be, it's kind of like a little indicator of what rune I'm focusing on today. You can also use it for casting, and here's some fun way it looks here. And this is your compass with the Ogre Futhark on it. There we go. So you can still do a 9 rune spread with this, like that. There you go. So again, this is all practicality. None of this is necessary, required, or anything. This is all just practicality, personal taste. If you are very much into the tradition of casting runes, and then some of the stuff may not even appeal to you, you're more likely to go with just a simple rune cloth, which could be a white cloth, a red cloth, whatever you wanted to have there. So that is my selection and suggestions for rune cloths. So there you have it. Those are my rune cloths and discs, non-cloth rune grids and things like that that I use. And I'd love to see more of what you use. If you have any pictures or things of your altar, things that you have on your rune layouts, I'd love to see them on the social media. You can put them up on my Facebook page there, and also just tag me in different things. I'd love to see them. If you like this video, there's more on this channel, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video if you did like it, and leave me your comments below. I'd really like it. Now, if you want to support more of what I do have a Patreon page, and that link is also in the description there, and you can support these videos that you see here on YouTube, and also be able to enjoy more things by being a patron, and I would be honored if you did. So if you like that, go ahead and hit up that link as well. So if you have any other questions or any other videos that you want me to make specifically, I would love to hear them. So go ahead and leave those as well in the comments below. And otherwise, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time on Rune Ways.